Hello again everyone, welcome back to the channel. Now, having recently done a video on the Boudican Revolt, which you can find somewhere up there, I was inspired to do a video on one of the settlements that Boudica attacked. Verulamium. Located just southwest of the modern city of St Albans in Hertfordshire, Verulamium was a thriving Roman city that was located on Watling Street and only about a day's walk from Londinium. But its story starts well before the Romans arrived, as it was an important centre for the Catuvellauni. Their king, Tacitus, who ruled somewhere between 20 BC and 9 AD, set up the settlement there and even minted coins on the site. The native name for the site is supposedly Verlamion, which probably means the broad hand in Brittonic. And remarkably, Verulamium is one of the first places in Britain to have a recorded name. Not long after the Romans arrived and secured their position in southeastern Britain, Verulamium was given the status of municipium around 50 AD, which gave the people there Latin rights, which was a step below Roman citizenship, but certainly an elevated legal status. Verulamium grew quickly in prosperity, enough to draw the attention of Boudica during the Boudican Revolt around 60 AD. Now, Boudica had already destroyed the settlements of Camulodunum and Londinium, and now she set her eyes on Verulamium. Verulamium was undefended. It had no legions present, so it was an easy target for the rebels, and they fell on it with absolute fury. The ancient sources tell us how it was burned to the ground and its population was slaughtered. And modern archaeologists have found a thick layer of debris and ash that comes from this attack. A chilling confirmation of the accounts of Tacitus and Cassius Dio. Verulamium was left a ruin, but it wasn't the end of its story. It would be rebuilt stronger than it was before. The town was rebuilt, and over the next 2 centuries it flourished, and by the 3rd century it covered some 125 acres of land, encased in walls and ditches. And at its heart was a forum and basilica, the centre of commercial and civic life. Now, we've also found a theatre, which is unusual in Britain as it has a stage, unlike the amphitheatres that would be used for gladiatorial combat. But life in Verulamium wasn't without its setbacks. 2 serious fires hit the town, one in 155 AD and another one a century later. But each time the locals rebuilt the town, increasingly in stone rather than in timber, giving us the solid remains you can see today. Much of Verulamium still lies buried, but you can still see quite a lot of it. There are the Roman walls, there's a hypocausts system, and also the Roman theatre, which is of note as it's the only fully excavated Roman theatre in Britain. Excavations done in the 20th century, particularly those done by Mortimer and Tessa Wheeler, have found all sorts of things, including jewellery, money, pottery, and even complete coffins, and many of these you can go and see in the Verulamium Museum on the edge of the site. One of, if not the most important finds at Verulamium is the Forum Inscription, which was found in 1955 near St Michael's School. Now, it's a large dedication slab dated to around 79 AD, and it's dedicated to Emperor Titus and his brother Domitian. Now it also names Gnaeus Julius Agricola, the then governor of Britannia, who is better known for the biography that was written by Tacitus. The inscription tells us that under Agricola's governorship, the Basilica of Verulamium was adorned, a sign of the town's civic pride and its close ties to Rome. Verulamium also has close ties to Britain's Christian history, as it was in Verulamium in the late Roman period that a man called Alban became the first recorded Christian martyr in Britain. According to the earliest accounts, Alban was a Romano-British citizen who sheltered a fleeing Christian priest, and inspired by the priest's faith, Alban converted to Christianity. And when soldiers arrived to arrest Alban's guest, he offered himself in the priest's place, and he was executed, traditionally in Verulamium, and was venerated as a martyr. By the 5th century, a cult had grown around the memory of Alban, and when a visiting missionary, Germanus of Auxerre, turned up in 429 AD, he honoured St Alban at his shrine, showing how the story had already firmly taken root. Now in time, modern St Albans was built just uphill from Verulamium, centred around the abbey and future cathedral that was built in memory of Britain's proto-martyr. As the Roman period ended in the early 5th century, Verulamium was gradually abandoned, its stone being reused to build modern St Albans, such as at the Norman Abbey, where you can see in its walls Roman brick and Roman stone. Verulamium's memory lives on. Sir Francis Bacon in the 17th century took on the title Baron of Verulam, and the Earls of Verulam have carried that title into modern times. And further afield, an asteroid has been labelled 4206 Verulamium in memory of this ancient town. Verulamium's story is one of resilience. From tribal centre to municipium, from fiery destruction to Christian martyrdom. And its ruins still whisper of a town at a crossroads between Roman and British history. But thank you very much for watching. Please remember to like, comment and subscribe, it helps immensely, and I'll see you on the next one. Ciao for now.